Next Fix podcast. We are on another journey into recovery and individuals with their sights set on a bright future on the other end of a tough past. And so I have a dear friend here, Chez. We go way back, like 2 weeks ago. Chez, welcome, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, sir. I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Right. So I'm gonna let everybody know the reason why Chez and I are recording right here, right now, doing this episode is because he had enough guts to reach out to me on the phone. He said, "Why didn't you call in the first place, Chez? Why did you call?"
So I had purchased your book, Man Up, Sober Up, and as I was reading the book, I noticed that there was a 21-day challenge. So I entered my email and was very excited about this 21-day challenge and was attempting to look into it, and I thought that I wasn't getting the email that I was supposed to, and it was really stressing me out. I think I signed up probably like 5 times. Like I've got like 5 of the same email within my inbox. It still wasn't working, and I noticed that there was a little phone number at the bottom of the email. I assumed maybe it was customers. I didn't know who I was calling. I was just trying to fix the issue that I had in front of me. And then next thing I know, I am speaking to the man who's been dropping some serious knowledge on me. And that's how it started.
Well, I gotta say, man, I am susceptible to flattery, and I appreciate it, brother. So yeah, thanks, man. And I just really think that it's pretty awesome that you know, again, you're making moves in the right direction. And you know, with me or whomever it might be, you know, it's clear that your sights are set on a brighter future. So, but before we get into that, I want to know like just a little bit about your past and what it looked like when it kind of got dark for you, as far as substances go, and you know how you got involved in that side of things.
Yes, sir. So I've always partook, I guess, in extracurriculars, you know, on the weekends. I always considered myself someone that had a grasp on things, you know, smoking weed, doing some coke, some LSD, some Molly here and there, but my back went to shit, and I'm 4 back surgeries deep. I think after the first back surgery, I was prescribed to 90 oxys and 90 Dilaudid a month, and I was on that for the better of 7 years. During that time, if you'd asked me, I would have said I was a functioning addict. I gotta be honest, I don't even think addict was in my mind yet at that point. But once pain management abruptly ended, thought that it was the better, you know, until 12 hours later, my entire life came crashing down. I had always heard about withdrawal symptoms and stuff like that, but I was naive to what I was actually doing to myself. And in that moment, 12 hours later, I really understood what withdrawal symptoms were. It was one of the most terrifying things that was only getting worse as the minutes went on. So, you know, I got desperate. I didn't have any contacts because I didn't need contacts because I was prescribed to that medicine that I no longer had access to. So I live close to Jamestown, New York, and they've got themselves quite the fentanyl situation out there, and I literally just drove around, found someone that looked like they dabbled in that, which honestly wasn't that difficult, and that was when I did fentanyl, and that is really when shit got real, and it just got worse and worse and worse as time went on.
Yeah, fentanyl's murking people at an insane rate. And I was I was in the whole opioid. I was a part of it before fentanyl was a thing. Thank God. I mean, it's a wild thing. I mean, even at the drugstore, you see the Narcan is like it's on sale everywhere because people are just dropping, and you're still that's fantastic. And there's another really important element of that I'd like to point out is that when you got somebody who's addicted to something. When there's a will, there's a way. That phrase, when there's a will, there's a way, is an understatement for a person on a mission to alleviate the symptoms or get their fix or get their high. It is unreal the amount of ingenuity, the amount of willpower that somebody can actually execute. And so here you are. You drove to the biggest city. On a hunch, a correct hunch, but you're like, I'm gonna go get drugs. I'm gonna fix this feeling that I have, and you're on a mission. So, and you even mentioned it wasn't that hard. You made it happen, right? So, I want to put a note on that because we're gonna bring that up later on in the conversations. So, you're no longer on this, am I right? You're no longer on any opioids, right?
That is correct. I am drug free.
Well, that's fucking amazing. That's really, really good. That's the hard part, right? You got that out of the way. And so, what happened when you finally got clean? Was it like an intervention, or was it overdose? What happened? How did that look?
So I did have a group of friends that gave me an intervention early last summer. Honestly, it offended me more than it did anything. It was more of a how dare you mentality. I reached out to a wife that turned out to be, I don't want to say that it was a mistake, but it made things much more difficult because she is a very good girl, has no knowledge on that, and that's no shame on her. On Christmas of this last year, pulled into my driveway after coming back from New York, and I faded out in my seat, and I woke up to all the stuff that was on my lap flying out the door because of how hard my wife had opened the door up, and we had a hell of a conversation and put a lot of things into perspective. It was a very raw, that's the best way I could put it, a very raw moment of how, and it's terrible that it took that to do that, but I was like, it's time. It's time to go to rehab. I enrolled in rehab. I actually ended up going 2 days earlier than what I was supposed to go because I just wanted to start. It's you know what I mean? Waiting 2 days, that just seemed absolutely brutal and pointless, and I'm like, Sarah, let's go right now. I'm ready.
Right. So, well, I'm glad you did, man. I'm sure she's glad you did too. That it's pretty fresh, and you're not out of the woods. I don't think that everybody's completely ever out of the woods, but man, I can see the pain. I can see that the wound is still fresh. But more importantly, you got boots to the ground, and again, we're headed in the right direction, right? So how are things looking for you right now, and where are you at?
That's a good question right there, Mr. Penley. So I got out of rehab very beginning of February. I hit the ground running. I enrolled myself into IOP immediately. I wanted to keep the momentum going. IOP is an intensive outpatient therapy. You have a therapist, and you do 3-4 hour classes a week. And on top of that, I've been heavily involved.
Wait, say that again. So you're 1 3-4 hour class or 3-4 hour classes? I'm sorry, is it which one?
It is 3 times a week. I attend a 4-hour class.
Shit, yeah, that's okay. Right, it's a commitment.
Yes, it is. You know what I mean? But it's good. It's therapeutic. I found that being around like-minded people, because I don't want to say I'm a unique situation, but none of my friends, and I had 13 best men in my wedding, so like I've gotten lots of close people in my life, and a big thing in recovery is, you know, people, places, things, stuff like that. It was all me. None of my friends do any of that stuff. Being involved in the NA and the IOP, being around those like-minded people, the things that I thought that only I experienced in my mind and stuff like that, I have found to be extremely helpful for me. With everything that I put the family through, the wife obviously has some serious trust issues, and she has zero idea how to handle this, and honestly an environment was created that was very risque for my sobriety. And the 5th of this month, I have been homeless since the 5th of this month. The wife and I are on a break. You know, I thought my rock bottom was detox, but my rock bottom started the 5th for sure. So I've been homeless since then. I found out who my real friends are. I've been investing a lot of time in my mental health. The things that I thought I needed to do fresh out of rehab weren't necessarily in the mindset that I was in. Wasn't necessarily, I think, correct. But I definitely think I am headed in a very necessary direction now, mental health wise, recovery wise, meeting wise. Because it's all been very extremely overwhelming since I have been home, for myself and for my family too. I mean, my wife has every reason to be extremely cautious and not trust me, but so yeah, I mean, I was on top of the world when I came home from rehab, and nothing could bring me down, and then my whole life crashed pretty seriously a couple of weeks ago.
Now, okay. Well, listen, man. I want to point out some really, really good things. Right? You're sober, right? I mean, from what I can tell, things feel bad, and they should. You're paying a price that's finally come along that you didn't pay before, right? It's delayed. It's a delayed price that you have to pay. I went through this. You know, I'm still kind of. I've got one friend that I just still haven't. I hurt him so bad. I still haven't gotten our relationship quite back. And that was 5 years ago. I've been working on that, and I'll work on it till the day I die. Here you are. You're suffering a delayed price for what you had done before. But here's a beautiful part of that is you said it. You said that you understand that that why she'd be upset, why she doesn't quite trust you. And so there's a gap between being healthy yourself and other people agreeing with you. And it's because of what you did. It's because of the hundreds or thousands of times, or however many times you lied, and how many times you didn't come home, and how many times you passed out the car. There's a delay. And so here you are, you're paying the price for those things that you had done, but you're aware of it, which is such a gift. That's a beautiful gift, right? Because what you can do is, and what I had done, and what I think is the best course of action, is that you just work your ass off until it's undeniable, until she sees you and says, hey, he's not playing. He's not playing around. He's not fucking lying. I can see it. And sometimes I think that it takes that presence, right? You're fresh out of rehab, so there's a whole bunch of things that are pointed in the right direction, but you're not quite there yet, right? I know that you and I have been speaking, and you are motivated to get physically more healthy, right? And I think that anytime a person's trying to get their partner back, looking better is always useful. So get in shape, and being mindful, conscious of your physique and things like that. They help you. And I like to call it the second portion of that is that you also become healthier. And when you become healthier, you look healthier. You have a better energy about you. So I think that your efforts in that direction are also again, a massive positive. You have an awareness of that. You have an awareness of why she's so upset with you. Now, I keep mentioning the delay because there's going to be a gap. And here's the bitch of it, right? You don't get to decide when that happens. You don't get to decide. I can tell you right now, it's not going to come sooner than you think. It never. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. It's like when you call on a higher power of the universe to help you out, or you start to manifest certain portions of your life. It always takes longer than you want it to, and then oftentimes, or almost every time, longer than you think it would. Right? You're like, damn, I've been working my ass off. Why the hell don't I look better? Man, I've been working my ass off. Why doesn't she notice? These are going to be questions that are almost certain. So certain. But, when you have enough belief behind those actions, in time, they come to fruition, right? Like, so if you just stick with what you do know is going to create that positive effect. You can get the influence for you almost immediately. You start kind of, if you go running and you mentioned that you go mountain biking, things like that, right? I'm sure you go for a badass mountain bike ride, you get done, you've expended this energy, you're reaping some benefits personally, immediately. Now, the benefits that go outside of your sphere, they take more time, because everything else around you is starting to shift and alter as a result of your actions, but they do eventually. I know that you mentioned that the worst part of your life is when you got out of rehab, and there's a part of me that's arguing that it could be better. So I personally, what I've decided is I want to help you with this, man. I want to help you for the near future, man, to kind of solidify these bricks of your foundation and keep you headed in that direction. You're currently homeless. That sucks. And I was homeless for a while. Are you in when you say homeless, are you staying with friends? Are you at like a halfway house? Are you at a shelter? What does it look like for you, really?
So the first week, pride really got the best of me. I was having a difficult time reaching out to people, so I was sleeping in a park. And then finally I was covered in enough ticks, and I was like, fuck this. I set my pride to the side, and I made some phone calls, and I've been couch surfing since then. I have since found an apartment, and I actually just signed my lease, and I move in on the 1st of June.
Already, man. Already, it's not what you want, but that's enough, man. That's enough. I mean, because when you don't have a place to lay your head, it's hard to get anything going, man. And
Yeah.
you are a freaking soldier for not running right back to New York and finding whatever asshole that you did in the first place to treat us and say, I mean, I don't rob him. I mean, I can see that being, so, but you didn't do that. You didn't run that way. You got rid of, you found some humility, and now we've got a place on the 1st. Huge. That's huge. And for anybody listening, like I'm learning these things too. So my questions are, questions I don't know the damn answers to. So, all right, you got a place to live on the 1st. Okay, that's huge. What about work?
So I am currently full-blown disabled due to all the screws and plates in my spine, but it's crazy how shit works out. I received some mail with information stating how much I can work without it interfering with my benefits, because I'm not completely helpless. Obviously, I don't want to put myself in a situation to where I'm going to be sore as hell for the days to follow, because that is definitely something that I have experienced in the past before I was put on disability. You can be as transparent and straightforward with these people that are hiring, and they claim to understand, okay, we can't have you do this, can't have you do this, but then a couple of days later, they're asking you to do such things. So right now, I am doing the disability thing, and I just this past Friday signed paperwork that has released me to work X amount of hours, or it can't exceed this amount of dollars a month. So I'm all cleared for that. So the next step is to find employment that's going to align with my limitations.
Right, right. What did you do for work before, or what's some of your experience? Like what does that look like?
So I have a specialized diesel technology degree. I was a diesel mechanic, and then I shifted into like engineering inspection. Before my
Okay,
before my first back surgery, I would inspect road and bridge construction.
got it, got it. Do you need licensure for that? Do you need accreditation or certification, or is that
Yeah,
like right,
yeah. But then I had to do all sorts of classes and get all sorts of certifications for like concrete and bitumen, just various bituminous material certifications and stuff like that. Yep.
right, right? Okay, all right. Well, I'd like to point out another little golden nugget that I heard you say. You were pointing out that you got some mail, and you're pointing it out as like, it was like this blessing that fell upon you, right? And it was
Yeah.
mail, and so what I saw was gratitude, right?
Mhm.
And so you right now there's a lot of shit working against you, but you chose to say, well, man, I was lucky, blessed, whatever you want to say. I got this mail that said I could work a little bit, and that's gratitude, man, and it should not gratitude cannot be underestimated because it's gonna be your best friend, man. Because gratitude will be the friend that will keep you from running to New York and moving backwards, right?
Yes, sir.
So, in owning the small wins, brother, and this is why I'm pointing it out, because it's important to harness them. And too many times people just they look around, and you don't get me wrong. Again, there's plenty of shit working against you. There's some big boxes that look rather shitty, but it's not all shitty. There's some decent stuff, and sometimes you gotta look so low. And this is actually I like mentioning it a lot because um it's a quote that says that we don't find God because we don't look low enough. Now, and I'm not Bible thumping here. It's just that you don't find um, the blessings, or you don't find that extra power because you don't look small enough. And if you look small enough, typically you can find something to be thankful for, and you
Hmm.
did that, right? And so again, gratitude's going to be your best friend when it comes to not working backwards, right? You're like, and this sucks, but at least I got this thing going on. At least I got that thing going on. So, already you're not void of some really positive things. And so, all right, you're disabled. So do you get a check? Do you have like yeah, okay. And I'm sure it's not like, something to go, with Vegas with. I get it, but
No.
like
Yeah.
you got a little bit of money coming in. You can go get a some type of a part-time job because you can't work full-time because you're disabled. So there that is, right? So the next step, I imagine, would be to find jobs where you mentioned find jobs that align with your circumstances.
Hmm.
And so your circumstances are limited. What is it, like 20 hours a week or something like that? What would you say?
I've got it written. It's like I think it was like 15.
Yeah.
Between 15 and 20, something along those lines. Yes, sir.
So what I think would be ideal, where I think would be ideal is something that could line up with some of your goals.
Hmm.
And again, all conversations outside of this recording were that you were
Right.
kind of thinking about getting physically in shape.
Mhm.
So right off the top of my head, I'm thinking, part-time gig at like maybe a gym or something like that. Maybe a rehabilitation center. Who knows? But if you could get two birds with one stone, like maybe a positive environment that
Yes.
you can get yourself into, also make a few bucks, get out of the new place you're about to move into, all massive positive things. So it's not enough to say, oh, well, I just got to go work for 15 hours. Where can I do that? Because I think if you settle or pick the wrong place that doesn't align with maybe some of the other goals, some intrinsic goals, then you're not making the most of it, right? So I think that and everybody that's listening, I want to like for you, and even you, Chez, like I am again, I plan on us doing another podcast, maybe a couple months from now, and after we keep in touch here, and I want us to work together and like just get you in as ideal of places we can in a short period of time. And so right on. So all right, place to live, can work a little bit. How are you feeling physically? How's the back feel?
You know, the back feels pretty damn good, and that's been a mind fuck in itself because I was using the drugs for so long because my excuse was I needed them for my back, and I was experiencing pain. At least my brain was telling me that I was experiencing pain from my back. Now that I'm not doing drugs, I am coming to realize that my back doesn't hurt me as bad as it does. Now, don't get me wrong, something that I wasn't mindful of were my limitations. The mind f that, the surgeries put me in a dark spot big time. My manhood was crushed. I had these unrealistic expectations of what I should be doing and how I should be able to do it and stuff like that. So expectations and the expectations were too high and the limitations were non-existent. Because of that, it would result in doing more drugs so I could keep up with what I thought was expected of me. So now I'm more mindful of my limitations. I've come to realize that every action has a reaction. And with good planning and proper execution, it's much more manageable than I ever imagined.
Right. Well, that sounds uh that sounds pretty fucking optimistic too, brother.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, man, well, what's so crazy is like I'm all super excited because you chose the word manageable, right? And like some people don't really think, that that's such a badass word, but like, you're talking about very hard things to overcome. And you're saying, you know what? My condition with my back, or however horrific it was in the surgeries being necessary, I don't eat drugs, right? And so you've denounced this, a pitfall in life is opiates. You've denounced that, and you're like, I can manage this. I mean, it's like, what I'd like to do is just that little spark. I want to douse gasoline on it and turn it from, increase the managing your scenario into like just straight storm that castle, man. Just let this thing rip the lid off. So it's all of the necessary things are coming. I see that they're either possible or they are coming together. Again, huge having a place to live, huge having a few dollars coming in with disability, something you can count on. Again, it's not something that you're going to be stacking up a bunch of cash in the account, but it alleviates some of the pressure. And with that little bit of breathing room, and it's going to be just what you need, man. Right. So the back pain is manageable. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. And it seems kind of like lofty. It seems kind of like a meta thing. What would you do? What would you do for free? Like if you already had a bunch of money and you could do anything you wanted for free, what would that be?
I would provide services to to young fellas, man. Like I was leaving frantic. Her son was involved in drugs and he was having an episode of something and I went in and I attended thing my therapy appointment, and when I walked out they had just finished what they were doing and I could hear him talking about something to do with his friends and how he had felt, and his mom was so desperate, and hearing the panic and the uncertainty in his mom's voice, I went over there and I'm like, hey, do you mind if I tell you a couple of things? I don't know why, but the younger generation the younger generation seems to be very comfortable with me. I don't know. Maybe I dress like them. I don't know. And I was able to drop some knowledge on this kid, because I remember what I thought was important at that age and stuff like that. And I was able to make him feel good. And I could see him come down. And what that did for me, what that provided for me was like nothing that I had ever experienced in my life. And I had also never put myself in that situation really either. I was worried that I was going to overstep a boundary. That's why I approached it very softly. But the satisfaction that I got out of that was like unlike anything that I had ever experienced ever. So like
Right.
I would for free I would help people, whether that be I will my son goes to Catholic school. They also have a soup kitchen there. I will occasionally go and volunteer at the soup kitchen and stuff like that because I grew up very poor and we took advantage of the soup kitchen. I would for free I would help people.
Right. Right. No, helping people is it's pretty it's not. But more specifically, you just helped somebody at the clinic that you were at, right? So what is uh you, I think the most useful thing that people can do when you start to solve hard problems in the world, like substance abuse, is to reach back and help somebody else that might be familiar with those circumstances. And honestly, this is the only like my look. They asked so what I gave that damn thing because it was my effort of doing exactly so. So, but it was my effort to help people that I was. Here, let me find another way to say this. I think it's our responsibility to help people that are a few rungs down on the ladder, right? Like, so you're on the ladder, you're climbing this thing, you're like, shit, man, I hope this thing is on the right wall. I hope I'm leaning this ladder up against the right. You look back and you see somebody a couple of rungs lower than you. I think it's our responsibility to say, hey, man, check it out. Careful on this one. A little slippery. You just reach back and you just help them out a little bit. Why? Because you're just a little bit ahead of them. That's all it takes. If you're just a step ahead of them, you are in a unique position. You specifically have some knowledge that may help them. It's not a promise that they will help. And I knew that like when I wrote the book, I said, I don't know if this is actually going to help anybody at all. I was like, but it might, and it's what I did, it's what I learned, it's what I know. So if I might as well get it out there. And so again, I think it's our responsibility. I think you're feeling that. You're feeling that to talk to that kid. And this is a glorious moment, man. Here you are. You said this is the first time, correct? First time you ever spoke? Right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're at a facility, right? You're in a place that there's a good chance that there's somebody that's on the same ladder that you are. There's a very strong chance. And even people that aren't on the ladder, his mother, right? You might even be able to help her. She's not even climbing the ladder, but you're like, hey, check this out. It's going to get a little bit better past this, and whatever you could say to help her out too, right? Like there's all sorts of people in that particular space, in that particular place, that facility, that there's a bunch of opportunities. This is the first time it struck you. It struck you like lightning, and I can see it, So you want to remember that. I know you got some pen and paper there. I know, write it down, man. Like this is clearly a good place for you to seek. All right, going back to the job thing, next time you go there, say, hey, listen, can I help out here? I can't work much because I'm disabled. But, maybe I can, whatever might suit them. Who knows if they're hiring? Not sure, but
Right.
at least inquire because this is a good place. I mentioned working at a gym or something like that because gyms are renowned for having a lot of part-time work.
Yep.
So there's always that, right? Or even a physical rehab facility, because you're familiar with that. That's another place that maybe, then again, people go there for like real, clinical advice, but nonetheless, not a bad idea. All right. So you mentioned you would help people if you had a endless amount of money, you didn't need to get paid. You would want to figure out a way to help people, right? And I'm seeing a little bit more specifically people that were people that are in the circumstances that you've kind of climbed out of, right? And so,
Mhm.
but there's a lot of hope there. Okay, another question. Can you tell me something that while you're doing it, time seems to just fly by? Like you look at the clock, you're like, okay, it's already been 2 hours, and this could be in any kind of a hobby, anything that I mean, anything that where time seems to move really quickly, right?
So this summer is actually the first summer that I have not coached any of my child's sports. It was a nice little break to be able to sit on the sidelines and enjoy watching the games and stuff. But coaching, engaging with those little ones, so fun, comical, fulfilling. Because I mean, you're teaching them. It's a big deal teaching a young boy to throw a baseball. Because that's like a skill that every young boy should know how to do and do properly. I think that at least that's the way that I look at it.
Right.
It's like my fatherly duty to make sure that my son knows how to throw and catch a baseball. Like when I would coach sports and stuff like that, I'd look at the clock and I'd be like, oh my gosh, it's already over. Like it's already over. That is a situation. That's one of those situations for me. Coaching the little kids' sports, I find that
That's
to be like effortless.
Right. Okay. So that's another these questions are to try to invoke um you know a sense of direction, right? To cure aimlessness is to find something to aim at. And so that's what I'm doing here is to get you to think about possible places to aim. So that's really cool, man. And so you mentioned some very noble things, man. And so I think it would be safe to say that you got like a pretty big heart because these types of actions, you're not just saying it. I can see that you're not just saying it because it sounds good, because it does sound good. I want to help children. I want to help people. That's true, but it is you're really thinking about these answers, and so I really, so that's a pretty cool thing. I gotta say, I can't catch a baseball, man. It's a little sad. I don't know. I shot with the glove. I don't know. It wasn't my thing, man. So
I got you. I got you, dude.
dude, I don't know, man. I'm gonna say like a ship has sailed, but but here you are. We've kind of done some light digging. I'm really excited that you told me some good news. You told me some bad news too, but again, I want to help you. Now I know we've been talking about workouts, and I want to give you a little bit of confidence here. This is just like this is something like it might be kind of a superficial thing to say, but I had a client of mine. He's a good friend of mine. Probably my best client while I was coaching in a gym. This is years ago, and I was working in a gym, and his wife wasn't like I don't know. They were together, but he's like, man, I look like shit. And I said, I'm going to get it to the place. You'll be at a place where she will roll over and wake you up. She'll wake you up to come on to you. And it happened. It took like 4 months,
Nice.
but man, it happened. And he's like, tell me, he's like, I can't believe it. And nonetheless, I want to work with you on getting there, man. And so I know I started you off with like a couple of little workouts. Simple, by the way, anybody's listening. Don't underestimate simplicity, right? It was 100 push-ups a day. How are you doing on that?
I'm getting them done. I mean, I'd be lying. Like you say simple, but my side boobs don't think they're so simple. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I get them done. I have been having my son do some with me too, so it's also
Beautiful.
offered some bonding time with my son as well.
That is a two blades, one stone. And so the people we not this is a little physical training thing, but when you're doing that many push-ups, they're not straight, but it's not how many are you doing at a time? Like how many are
10.
you getting that?
I'm
10.
doing 10 at
That's
a
all.
time.
I did the same thing, and I think that you and I were talking about it. Again, if you go and look low enough, when I started, I was sitting around, my arm was broken, and I was fat. I was like 200. I'm like 196 right now. At the time, I was like 265 pounds.
Oh
I
wow.
was fat, and I was sitting around. I had no neck. And people would say, I say I can't work out because I got a broken arm, my fractured arm. And they're like, well, you can run, can't you? And I'd say, I think to myself, well, that's true, but I don't want to admit it. So I kind of just continue to just not do shit. So, but then one day, I went outside. I said, I'm going to do jumping jacks for 3 minutes. And not in a row, like not in a row. Like just like I asked you, how many push-ups are you doing at a time? 10 at a time. Would you get to 100 in a day? That's a massive, massive change. You do that every day. You get to 100 every day for a month. You'll change your body. It's a wild thing when you link those little tiny wins together. So, but no, let's back to the jumping jacks. I ended up doing 33 minutes that day. The next morning, I felt like I got hit by a fucking truck. I was like, my ankles hurt, my knees hurt, but I had already made the decision, and I think this is something that you check off too, because like you're decisive. You're making hard decisions and you're sticking to them, right? And that already is giving us a leg up here in this whole journey. But I made a decision and I got out there and I gave myself like 2 hours to get the 3 minutes done. I mean, hell, you could do 15 seconds at a time. And this is something I had to chop it up into a tiny little bite-sized portion, you know? It's an old Chinese proverb, you know, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Like this, so it's like,
Yeah.
see what I had to do that, right? And like, I remember after doing these jumping jacks for months, man, it was like, I got to the point where I was doing like 1,000. And then I had told my family that I was living with that I was doing 1,000. And my brother-in-law at the time, he counted them, and I was short. I wasn't doing 1,000, but I thought I was doing 1,000. So, anyways, eventually I was doing way over 1,000. But long story longer, 9 months later, completely ripped. I mean, I was like jacked beyond belief, and it all started with that 3 minutes, right? So here you are. Again, you can sit around and bitch all day that you don't have a job and that you were homeless. You could have just sat on complaining. But push-ups are free, and and if you do enough of them for no long enough time, you're gonna have really nice benefits in your body. Now, not just the push-ups, but you'll develop all the other things and kind of snowball it, right? But if you hadn't made these decisions to go out there and wherever you're at and do the 100 push-ups, if you weren't able to do that, then where are we? And so, huge win to be able to do the 100, by the way. There's so many people that maybe they're not able to do that or they're not willing. And so here you are, you're able and willing. Now, did it give you back? I think I asked you, does it give you back problems being in that position?
Nothing that's not nothing that is not manageable. That's how I
Right.
know That's how I know they're working because they're making me a little sore.
What? So now they're in that position. You're doing a plank. So it's a nice way to build core strength because you mentioned your core strength is not all that great, but if you can do that, you're in a plank. You're holding your body still and straight. So that's strengthening. When I say core, sometimes people misinterpret that. It's your lower back, your abdominals, everything that holds you together in the center. It's being used. Huge. And we're adding some movements to that. Are really super valuable. Because what have we done? We've now chosen a goal that you can attain, and we're completing that goal. And so what do you do then? You just iterate on a larger goal, right? And it's controlled failure. And so here we are. We've got that process started. Now we just need to take the same process, apply it to getting this job. That will snowball. It will all start to, they conjoin. They all start to form. Your physical health will lead into better mental health. And which, by the way, you've got a great deal of fortitude in your voice and in your mindset. And these are going to be massive assets to you in the near future because I have a lot of faith that you're checking off all the boxes, the major boxes, that's going to break you out of this this current circumstance and realign your life, man. I'm excited about this.
That's one of my main focuses right now too. Is my mental health. I've actually go to therapy 4 times a week right now.
Right.
Seems like the longer that I'm sober, the more that I'm feeling, and it's not something that I've been used to. In regulating, I just want to do it. I just want to do it right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, again, you're doing several right things, like several right things, like, going to the therapy, getting in those hours of help, appropriate help. I mean, these are people that are considered healthy. You should always get that professional, objective opinion of where you're at and what you're thinking. So, it's so good, man. So, all right, because we're working together. That's what's happening. And so let's put it out into the universe. Let's go with 2 months, right? Give me 3 goals in 2 months that you and I we're gonna smash.
3 goals, 2 months, smash. Remaining sober is priority number 1. I am staying on that train. Number 2 is getting fit. I've been mush for so long, and I've been content with being mush. I've used my back as an excuse to be shit for such a long time. I'm 6'4", 200 pounds. There's no reason why I should be content with being mush. So I really would like to get a good bod. I don't know. I'm over the dad bod, I guess.
Well, we're gonna 200 is too short to really get you like
No, yeah.
shredded. Yeah, no, I hear you. But we're gonna be we're gonna be headed in the right direction. And so then it's just stacking up another couple months on top of that. So we've got sobriety, we've got physical fitness, right? And then what's the third one?
Third goal is, man, that's tough to just pop out 3 goals like boom, 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 Mr. Penley. I don't know if this is a goal. Like I'm transitioning my mindset. Because like I've been like pity partying and like, oh, I'm fucked. But now I'm looking at this as an opportunity. And I want to remain that. Like the way my mental health has been, it's been so flippy floppy. I don't know, to remain mentally stable. I don't know. That is a good goal, but like it just doesn't. Getting a job, 2 months, get a job.
I mean, I suppose you were going with like a meta, kind of like a larger 30,000 foot view, kind of monster phrase, and then getting a job. It's really important, and it's definitely worth doing. We can put that on the list. But I want to say, I think I know where you're headed. Before you said get a job, we're going to lounge you out. And I think maybe not in 2 months, but maybe a little bit longer. We're going to call it reinvention, man. We're going to reinvent Chez. It's going to be nearly unrecognizable. How long that takes? That's not something that people can really just knock out in a couple months. But like I said, we're going to lay the bricks. We're going to lay the bricks for the foundation, and we're going to get that thing looking nice and level. So yeah, man. All right, we got our sights set for the time being. This is where we're going to sign off, brother. But just so everybody knows, we'll call it a couple months. We're going to jump back and record where we're at, and until then, we're going to work together, you and I, and we're gonna make this thing happen, brother. I'm excited about this.
I can't even express to you how excited I am. I've come to realize that there are no coincidences, man. In like the 3 weeks, the fulfillment, that's something I've always lacked, is fulfillment. And like the 3 weeks in one of the darkest times of my life, the fulfillment that I have found already. And then once I got involved with you and what you have been pushing me to do, I've been thinking, and that's such a short amount of time, I can't First off, I
Yeah.
can't thank you enough. I can't thank you enough, Mr. Penley, because
That's it.
you're a powerful presence in my life, sir.
Wow. But hey, man, it's only gonna get better, brother. But until the next episode with my boy Trash here, guys, this is Get Fixed. Thank you so much.